to Flopro. This is Ken, and he's going to tell us about his new exhaust.
Hey everybody, Flopro Ken here once again. Brand new product right off the assembly line. This is product number 1. It's our 2020 Gladiator exhaust, 3-inch catback. We're the only ones that offer a true 3-inch for this truck. Great sound, great product.
Okay everybody, so as always, we wanted to show a little love back to you from our channel and from Flopro. Flopro is wanting to give you guys a free exhaust kit. He's going to tell you a little bit about it.
Alright guys, so Flopro has been expanding into the gas applications. I know we're primarily the diesel guys, but we're good for you gas guys as well. And as we've expanded into the Jeep lines, we've got products for the JK, the JL, and the new JT. And for your chance to enter to win, all you got to do is hit that like button and leave a comment below and your choice of Jeep exhaust.
That's going to be valid for the US and for Canada, and we're going to ship it right to your door. So now that that's out of the way, let's put this exhaust on, see what it's all about. Okay guys, so we're going to install the brand new JT exhaust kit. And Ken's going to tell you a little bit about how to install it. He's going to tell you about what the kit comes with. And then he's going to tell you how to take the factory exhaust off, because apparently there's a couple ways. I myself would have been out there with a sledgehammer, maybe screaming, couple things of Jack Daniels, you know how I did it, and probably would have got off, but not very nicely. Let's let the professionals show us what to do.
Okay guys, so the first thing you want to remember when you're going to do this project on these new JTs is that the stock exhaust is a single piece right from the front all the way back to your tailpipe. So getting the stock piece out in one piece can be kind of tricky. Ideally, you'll climb up underneath there with a zip disc or a Sawzall and you just chop her in half and it'll come out no problem. If you're trying to keep that stock exhaust as one piece and all intact, then you're going to have to fight with it a little bit. What we do when we're going to do that is we'll actually expand the suspension with either high lift jacks or with a forklift, and then that way you can kind of corkscrew the stock exhaust all out in one piece. But we'll get that to once we get under the truck here. As far as what comes in your kit, you get your fancy white Flopro box. We decided for this one we're going to go with the stainless, so it's our SS 886, also available in luminized, just standard 886. So let's open this up and see what we got. There's always lots of packing in the Flopro kit. We try and make sure that the stuff gets to you in good shape. Shipping is always one of those battles that we're fighting, but we try and do what we can to make sure parts are good when they get to you.
Are you going to want some help with this?
They're starting to come out. So, just like most Flopro kits, hangers that are factory mounted onto the truck, they're all going to be pre-located, so there's no guesswork. Where the hanger is, that's where the hanger is going to be on the truck. So there's our cool little tailpipe for the JT here.
This is the very first kit.
This is the very first one off the production line. So there's our axle pipe. It's super simple. Actually,
nice.
this whole kit is actually really easy to put together.
Okay.
This is our front adapter. This is going to connect to the collector end on the front. This goes right after the Cat Y pipe on this truck. After your two lines come into one, just after that collector, there's a factory band. That's where this is going to tie in there.
Let me ask you a question about that real quick, because guys like me with OCD and a detailing background, I'd be trying to scrape this off. Do I need to scrape that off, or is it going to burn off, or is it okay to leave it on?
You can leave it on. A little bit of brake clean will get most of it off. They will burn off over time, and they don't leave any kind of smell or anything.
But it's not going to harm the exhaust, it's not going to corrode it faster, so it's okay just to leave it?
Absolutely.
Oh, perfect. Okay, cool.
Some more foam.
I love packing. I love it.
There's our stainless steel clamps.
Holy cow.
3-inch clamps on our great big long extension. Of course, made in Canada, Pro Muffler. This is one of our original style, stamped, seam welded, everything done right here in Canada. And lastly, of course, the how-to. Your instruction sheet, parts list, and of course a sticker for you. Always important, guys, anytime you get a kit, we do our best to make sure everything's there, but always check your parts and make sure you've got everything before you tear your truck apart. If you are missing something or something's damaged, contact info is on the sheet here. Give us a call, we'll make sure we get you looked after. Okay guys, so where we're gonna start here with this Jeep Gladiator exhaust, Our exhaust is going to tie in right to this factory joint using the factory clamp that's on there. Our front piece is expanded to fit that joint specifically. And then as we go from there, we're going to remove the factory resonator. We're going to remove the factory suitcase that's on here. And then even way at the back here, they've got another little resonator sitting on the tailpipe. And that's going to come out of there also. This guy right here. And that's what we meant when I said that the exhaust from the stock is one piece. From that joint all the way to that tailpipe is one single solid piece. So if you want to keep it as one piece, you're going to have to fight with it to get out. Otherwise you can make a cut right in the middle and everything will come out in two pieces super easy. So I'm going to go over the tools that you need to do the exhaust change on the Gladiator here. It's actually pretty simple. You're going to want a saw if you want to cut the exhaust in half. Otherwise you're going to need a buddy for the project anyways, so they can help you fish it out if you want to keep it in one piece. Otherwise, all you're going to need on the front end, a 13mm socket, a wrench. Ratchet wrench is going to work best on the front end there. 13mm socket with a swivel head and an extension for the back end, and then a 9/16 socket to put the new stuff back on. Other than that, what you're going to want to do before you start is go to your rubbers that hold your hangers in place, and you want to give those a shot with either some WD-40 or a little bit of soapy water, just something to lubricate the rubbers. It's going to make the removal a lot easier. Another good tip is this truck's already got the spare tire moved to the box, but taking the spare tire out from underneath will just give you all the room you need to do the install and to get your factory stuff out of there. Otherwise, I think we're ready to start tearing it apart. Okay guys, so we've got the stock JT exhaust laid on the floor here next to our new Flopro exhaust. You can see quite a few differences off the hop. For example, we don't have as many mufflers and resonators. We've got just this one Canadian-made Flopro Original Series. And that's going to take care of all of our muffling needs. We've got true 3-inch pipe right from the front connection all the way back. You can tell the way that we do our bends, you're not going to have as much interruption in your airflow on your axle portion here. It's a much smoother transition. Right to the tailpipe, you can see the difference again without having that resonator, which is going to do two things. It's going to give us a little bit more ground clearance on the back end, and we're going to help liven up that sound a little bit. The other thing that we've already gone ahead and done, we took that factory hanger off of the truck. Now we're just going to move it onto our new piece, and then that tailpipe's ready to install. But going onto the truck, we're going to start at the front, work our way back, make sure everything lines up perfect. So the first thing we need to do is install our adapter. This is the piece that's going to connect to our factory joint. We're going to reuse this factory clamp. So this is kind of a tricky piece to get on there. You can see that the ball and socket style joint is made there, and then we just have to fight with our clamp to get her over the seam, and then we'll be good to tighten her down.
Okay, now which way do you use the hanger? Does the hanger go sideways on top?
So from the factory, it sits going upwards because they've got a little locator tab on the side here.
Okay.
On our exhaust, because we're not using that, you can spin it around underneath, make it easier to go, but really it doesn't make a difference. You put it wherever your heart desires. And so when we're putting this guy on here first, guys, we're just going to tighten this clamp enough to hold the pipe in place so it doesn't fall off the truck. But we're not going to go super snug because we want to have a little bit of movement, a little bit of adjustment in this joint until we get the rest of the system lined up. Then we can check for everything being aligned and straight before we tighten everything down. Okay guys, so before we stick our expanded end onto this front piece here, we're going to stick our clamp over the front. All the clamps are the same in this kit, so there's no guesswork. That goes up there. We take our extension pipe, that slides on. Now that joint is going to sit there nice and tight. And that clamp, that step clamp, is going to sit on that expansion. And then we can tighten that down using our 9/16. So the next piece after our extension, we're going to stick our Pro Muffler on here. An important note, all you guys are going to see this factory hanger mount. There was an exhaust hanger on the factory setup that is not there in the Pro kit. The Pro kit has enough of a weight reduction when compared to the stock stuff that this hanger just isn't needed. We've got enough support from the front, and the two hangers that are in the back, that's going to be way more than enough to handle the Pro weight. Okay, so we're going to put our Pro Original Series muffler on the Gladiator here. These are a nice guy because they're all constructed here in Canada, and more so is that there's no fiberglass, no packing or nothing inside these. They're strictly a chambered muffler. This is a triple chamber style. These are going to help keep your note down, give you a true aggressive performance sound, but because it's a triple chamber, it helps with resonance inside the cab. And what you get for a sound is what you're always going to have. You don't have to worry about blowout from fiberglass wearing down or anything like that. So these are great quality for these things. And they're durable, so they're going to last when you're out in the muck. Then, I'm going to just plate onto him, okay, like so.
And the pipe that you're going to connect is going to be the one closest to the driver's side.
Okay guys, so we got that muffler put in place and we slid our axle pipe up and over the rear end here and got it fitted into the muffler. Make sure you get your hanger seated all the way in there so that you're good and supported. You're not going to go anywhere. Now here's an important note for the Jeep guys. You'll notice that our axle pipe just comes to a stop here. This is where we would add our tailpipe for most of these applications. With the tailpipe on is where you're going to get the sound that this kit was designed for. It gives you a little cleaner note because you're not reverberating your sound from underneath. However, there's no reason why you can't, if you want the maximum clearance on this kit, you can leave this axle pipe just as it is, or you can even trim it a little further back to give yourself an axle dump. You will be a little bit louder note because you're going to get the reverberation of your exhaust being under the truck, but it's not going to hurt the performance of the vehicle. If anything, like I said, you're going to gain a little more ground clearance for when you're really out there playing on the rocks. The only other thing, once we get to this rear end, you can see if we decide that we're going to leave it and put the tailpipe on, we've already placed that hanger, taken it off of the frame and the stock exhaust. We've got it in the rubber, or the hanger in the rubber on the tailpipe, so that this way we can fish this up. And it's going to go over the end, and we're going to turn it as we go up so that we get the position that we need. And then we're going to go to the outside and we'll flip that hanger up like this, and that'll go into place, and that'll get us where we want to be hanging with a little bit of adjustment. Okay guys, so a couple of key features here that we're just going to make note of. You'll notice our mandrel bend coming up over the back end here. We have measured this and marked this so that we get maximum articulation out of the suspension on these trucks. You're going to hit your bump stop long before you ever come into contact with the pipe. And that is an increase of almost 3/4 of an inch worth of free articulation over the stock components. So that's going to give you a lot more off-road capability with that.